Welcome to my show. I'm a guest here. Her name is Andrea Lupulescu. Mrs. Andrea, how are you doing, ma'am?
I am very well. Thank you very much for the invitation. And I feel very honored to be here with you today.
And also, I sincerely thank you for the time and the opportunity, Mrs. Andrea. Firstly, you are a family constellation facilitator. Can you please, Mrs. Andrea, discuss more about yourself and how you are doing currently now, Mrs. Andrea?
Yes. So I am a business and family constellations facilitator, which means that I facilitate constellations in the systemic family system. We have in our domain, we have a couple of laws that we explore, and we can trace back any entanglements that are coming from our extended family. We are our parents and their parents and their parents. So when we're talking about trauma, for example, when we're talking about patterns, usually we will find a root cause for those issues inside the family constellations.
This absolutely solve a lot of intergenerational trauma because there are a lot of things that one want to track from the extended family, from the forefathers, and also our fathers as well. And if there is a source
Yes.
to that, it is very, very tangible and beautiful as well. I don't know that those tangible and beautiful things might not really be seen in a book, but I would just like to ask if you've written any book or you're planning to write any book in the coming future, Mrs. Andrea.
No, I haven't written any book just yet. I am moving from face to face to also being having my presence online, because obviously I want to reach more people with uh, these teachings. I'm not the mother, I'm not the father of these teachings. The father is Bert Hellinger from Germany.
Mhm.
And the person that I trained and I certified with was trained with by him for 5 years. They had training for 5 years in this field. And we are talking here about soul commitments. We are not talking about what we know with our mind and NLP and life coaching and everything else that probably your audience already tried. I tried also. We are talking about soul level agreements and soul level loyalties that we have towards our family system.
Beautiful. Our family, we do know our family is very beautiful, but there are a lot of load that are being carried with it as well. There are a lot of patterns that are also being carried with it as well. And how can we be sure that these patterns are not really from us because or it is not created from us? And how can we try our best to get through the situation and also solve it easily? I'm so very much amazed that this teaching came from a person from Germany and it has been presiding and also been transferred to other generations and also more that will come in the future. And that is why I also like to drive to areas where many listeners or many people really feel emotions, fear, guilt, sadness that do not just seem to match their life circumstances. How do you think they can recognize when an emotional pattern may be inherited rather than personally created by them themselves, Mrs. Andrea?
Yes, that's a very good question. And one of the first things that I would invite your listeners to notice is the scale of the emotion or the scale of the pattern. Um, because we have moments in our life when we look around and we're like, nothing terrible happened. I have a good life. I have a good job. I have good everything. And yet I feel this way, regardless of that emotion. Yeah. Like you said, sadness, um, fear, guilt, whatever that is. So if you look around and everything is fine, but you feel that way, that is a strong indicator that that may be something generational that is coming from the past. And it's only coming because you are a vessel to be able to see it, acknowledge it, and say, yes, this is not mine. I give it back with respect and with honor, and I take back my life. And my life should be joyful and happy and full of happy memories and not sadness, guilt, fear, and everything that basically stops us, because that has a purpose. It has the purpose to keep us loyal to the family. I can't be happy if that person suffered. I can't make more money than that person because then I don't belong to the family. And it's all out of love. Everything is out of love. But that is the most strong indicator that that emotion is coming from somewhere else, the scale of that emotion when everything is going well.
That shows that our emotions really says a lot about us. It says a lot when it comes to we recognizing if something is being passed down or if something is being created by we ourselves as humans. And if we can be in a position whereby we feel a lot of uprise and we also feel a lot of great things coming ahead, and we're actually doing every single thing that we know we are meant to do at the right time, and the emotions really pattern through it, the emotion doesn't align through that, then we could step back to our background. It could be a generational something that it is actually a sense of a burden towards the emotions that we're actually working with. And we have to be in the position to know how we can deal with this generation so that we can be able to break it, because we can be able to also
Yes.
live ourselves and also stay free out of the struggles that we find ourselves. And that is why I also like to drive to some certain patterns: failed relationship, money struggles, self-sabotage. It do repeat across generations. Those three things, most especially most of the time, it repeats across generation, even when each generation tries to do better. Why do you think those certain patterns really repeat across generations, Mrs. Andrea?
Yes. So the short answer is because a family system doesn't move in response to our efforts and our good intentions. Okay, there's a big difference between having a traumatic event in your life and needing therapy to overcome it, and the second one, yeah, because you can have patterns generated by personal trauma, and a completely different thing when those patterns are coming from the family system, because the family system, our soul and the family soul, it moves in response to order, in response to belonging, and in response to the truth. Yeah. So no matter how much therapy you're doing, no matter how much work you're doing, I've done therapy. I'm a certified life coach and hypnotherapist and NLP, and you name it, I've done it. I have a certificate in it. But there are things that those kind of therapies can't address because they're coming from the family system. Because on a soul level, three things are going to happen. Someone is not in their place. Yeah. If someone has been excluded, forgotten, rejected. Yeah. For example, I don't know, a great uncle committed a crime and then the family banished them. And nobody talks about him, nobody acknowledges them, and everyone just carries out. Someone in the family system is going to behave the same way so they can put order in place and be like, this person belongs to us. That person has a place in our family system. And if they get a place, then me, the person that I'm basically reliving his destiny, I can be on my place. Yeah. So that's the order that it very closely ties with the belonging, which is the second one. And the third one, the truth only needs to be seen and acknowledge. In family constellations, we don't judge, we don't use morality. Yeah, we look beyond good and bad. Each person had their own destiny. You don't know, you can't put yourself in that person's shoes. It is what it is, you can't change it. And the truth only needs to acknowledge that, yes, I had this great great uncle that committed this crime, and now in the present, I'm giving you a place in my family system. I acknowledge you, I see you, and now I'm taking my own place. And all of the sudden, that pattern that you were talking about, whatever pattern that is, just dissipates. It just disappears because the truth was seen and acknowledged. Does that answer your question? I'm sorry, I went on a tangent there.
No, it definitely brought out several insights on how these things are actually passed down, and also how these repeated generations patterns actually happen, and how we can also try our best to do better. You also bring out a solution towards it, and you explain some certain important thing that we do know there are therapies, we do know there are areas that we can heal ourselves and also give the sense of traumatizing healing. But there are some things that are from the background. If we do not solve the root, there is no way the situation in us will be resolved. And that is why I love the area you used a person who is from a family whereby the family has gotten into prison or created something and has been thrown out. When we start to give the sense of embracing, and we start to stay strong and also release those burden and also bring it and also make it to be told, then we can be in the position to actually solve those background trauma or those background burden that has been within us, because we have to try our best to see how we can do it externally. It is one of the best way we can use that, so that those generations won't be passed down from you as a person down to the next one. We can actually be a person that can actually be the one that we actually solve the situation in ease. And also that is why I would like to drive to the point of blame. One of the thing when people realize that I think this is a family or an ancestral inheritance or an ancestral burden from my fathers, from my parents, or from my forefathers. They really, really get to the point whereby they start to blame, and they start to forget the positive things the family has done. They start to forget the great things the family has also done along the way. So many listeners could fear that acknowledging family trauma means blaming their parents or ancestors. How do you think we can still try our best to honor our family history while choosing not to carry its burdens, Mrs. Andrea?
Yes, it's actually one of the biggest fears
Yes.
of the people that are coming to family constellations workshops, because we have this mentality that if I acknowledge what happened in my family, if I acknowledge what they did, does that mean that I'm blaming them? Does that mean that I'm judging them? And it's an understandable fear because many, especially currently, many conversations about trauma quickly turn into accusations, judgment, taking sides, and it just gets messy. Now, in family constellations, as I said, things are really, really different because we step out of that morality, if it makes sense. We don't stand in the position of the judge. Oh, this happened and I condemn you to be miserable for the rest of your life. We don't ask who was right, who was wrong. But more important, what we do ask is what happened? What is the truth that needs to be seen? And who does that truth belongs to? Because if it belongs to our mother and father, or mother and father, for example, is it actually theirs, or was there somewhere behind them that got passed on to them? So it's not just they acted this way because they acted that way and they're mean and cruel and all of that. No, where does that pain come from actually? Yeah. So that shift, when you're asking those questions, what actually happened, what is the actual pain that needs to be seen, and who that belongs to, then everything shifts. Okay. Honoring our parents doesn't mean saying that what they did was okay. We're not doing that. It doesn't mean denying on the victim's part um, the victim's pain, or denying the repercussions of their actions. Yeah. Honoring means recognizing something very simple, very profound, that we forget. We came through them. Life came to us through them. Without them, we wouldn't be here. Regardless how they are the best parents for you as a soul, because you chose them at the end. You chose to experience all of that. You're at a soul level. So honoring our parents doesn't erase any of the 3D world things that they did, but it means acknowledging that without you, I wouldn't be here. Just the cost of life. You cannot pay the cost of a life. How do you repay your mother for giving birth to you? You can't. It's as simple as that. Or your father, yeah, because he fell in love and made love with your mother, and together they gave life to you. You cannot put a cost, a price on that, and you cannot repay it. The only way you can try to repay it is by acknowledging and honoring that you are alive because of them.
That one specific area can be a source of strength for us because they are always our parents. We have to continue to get the sense of honor despite the negative pattern that we've actually taken from those generations. We can actually be a source of light in terms of we honoring them, and you actually bring out a lot of beautiful insights, to be honest with you, Mrs. Andrea, in regards to the questions we need to give ourselves, in regards to how the system actually works when when they're actually trying to give judgment. And we have to be in the position to be able to actually live a fulfilled life and also a happy life as well, by asking ourselves the right questions, as you said earlier, and also being in the position to honor our parents in the right way. Because whether we like it or
Yes,
not, the fear will always come in because of blaming our parents due to one or two things. It is just because this happened, that is why I'm behaving this way. But we can actually also be one of a source to break this pattern and also still be humble enough to honor them for the life they've brought for us on earth. And that is why I also like to
absolutely.
to the point whereby some people really feel blocked from success or joy without understanding why. In the world we find ourselves today, because some people believe that when they are having issues with their success or their joy, it's just a kind of spiritual battle or stuff like that. But sometimes, most of the time, it is from those patterns. The pattern that we've actually been that has been brought up from generations to generations. So, how do you think unconscious loyalty to family suffering limits growth, ease, or happiness, Mrs. Andrea?
It's um it's funny because this was one of my lessons in Family Constellations,
Yeah.
um, because many people don't realize it, but on a very very deep level, we have an invisible rule that we put up, which is I am only allowed to go as far as my family went. Many of us have that. And when I say that, I mean in career, in business, in projects, in relationships. I can only do as good as they did. Yeah, the belonging part. And this unconscious loyalty often sounds like love. Not often, all the time. It sounds like love on the inside, yeah? If I'm happier than my mother, then I'm abandoning her. If I have more success than my father, I'm leaving him behind. He's going to be feeling like I'm leaving him behind, I'm doing better than him, and all of that. So there's always these like subconscious patterns and loyalties that we have. But the family system finds very subtle ways to keep things balanced. Yeah, the system always tries balance. It will never be one up and one down. It's going to be balanced. And how it achieves that? Well, hopefully you're not going to be the unlucky one to have too many to carry to balance out. But when we feel that joy is kept, when we feel that money comes in, goes out the same, when we feel like opportunities come in, but nothing actually lands for me to take advantage of, when we feel that I have a great relationship with someone, I'm trying to find someone in my life, and I get close, and up to a point, and then I run away. Yeah. When ease feels uncomfortable, and this has been a very hard lesson for me, to be able to rest, to be able to feel comfortable that I can get bored. Like, we don't allow ourselves to get bored. Have you noticed? All of us were like, I need to do, I need to do, I need to do, I need to do. And even when you're not doing anything, you're just scrolling on your phone, and your mind, you keep your mind occupied with something. Yeah. So when we have these patterns, it's almost like you're suspicious, like, what the hell is happening? Yeah. And we can't explain it why, because consciously we want a different life. Subconsciously and at the soul level, it is what it is, because we are loyal. Everything comes from loyalty. The joy, the lack of joy comes from loyalty. The lack of money comes from loyalty. A lot of them comes from loyalty. Now, when it actually comes to specifics, and I think your audience is going to be interested in this, the most important relationships in our work and in family constellations are going to be the relationships with our parents. When we are talking about success, success has the face of our mother. How our relationship is with our mother, that's how our success in life is going to be. Because through her and the way we are honoring her,
Yes.
we receive life, we receive nourishment, we receive pleasure, we receive love, we receive abundance. So if the relationship with the mother is not the best one, not to say horrible, then receiving anything is going to feel unsafe. Yeah, when someone wants to love you and you run away, you can't receive, and you can't receive because you're not receiving from your mother, actually. If we're talking about on the father's side, the father has everything to do with money, yeah, and direction in life. Direction in life, confidence, standing in world, having your own path. If the father is not honored, or is not in the picture, or has been rejected, or the parents are divorced, I don't want to hear about my father. Well, you are rejecting everything that comes from authority, basically. So things are not going to be easy. Yeah, you're going to take one step forward, two steps back, because you lose your direction in life if you're not honoring that relationship with your father. So those two are the most important ones. If you only solve that, you're solving everything. Like, literally, you can break mountains if that gets resolved. So when either parent is unbalanced for the relationships, and we're not honoring them the way we should, then success in life is not going to be easy, and joy is not going to be coming in our life because we won't be able to enjoy it. It's as easy as that. Everything becomes very fragile, and we need to. And this is okay. This is a thing that sometimes brings people to tears, but I hope I'm not going to do this today. I need you to remember the following. Your family doesn't need you to suffer. Your parents don't need you to stay small just to think that you are honoring them if you're staying small. You have your own destiny that you need to have. And most importantly, our ancestors don't want to see us suffer. And all we have to do is just look and see the truth. Because that's what we do in family constellations. We change images, yeah, the images that we carry with us. And as long as we remember those things, then we can start moving into actually repairing any relationships, honoring our parents, and bring back joy, happiness, ease, success in our life.
Relationship with our parents really plays a very, very big role in our life. The way it's going to be protected in the future, it plays a massive role. Honoring our mother, as you
Yes.
said in the first place, is very important because a mother is the one that shows the emotions. She was the one that nurtured us from the young age down to our early age. And if we are in the position to actually give the sense of honor, we are going to definitely receive love. We will love and we will actually receive it. We won't be someone that will be getting distant from it. Likewise, the father role as well, having the sense of authority. We have to accept what comes from our parents. Honoring our parents really plays a very, very big role in our life. I think that is why we
Yes,
have very, very few people who are actually hope they're successful and also happy as well, because these are simple technique and also perspective. Most of the time, the situation is not from us. We might not be the issue, but we should also look from the side, our parents, our generations. How
yes,
have we been doing it? How have we been treating them? How have we been showing the sense of honor? And those things will reflect in a very, very massive way. And this is a very, very thing that we can
absolutely.
actually do in our time and also give the sense of healing as well regarding the perspective we find ourselves in life. I sincerely thank you
Yes,
for this beautiful insight, Mrs. Andrea. Even if there are a lot to cover, but this itself has brought us a very huge and profound message that generational trauma do exist, and there are ways we can actually get it resolved. But we have to sit down and ask
absolutely.
ourselves the right questions and also know the right paths within, and also, if possible, seeking advice from people like you as well is also recommended in one way or the other. And also, Mrs. Andrea, there is a question I normally ask during the end of the show. From our forefathers, from our ancestors, there are a lot of beautiful things that do exist during our ancestral time that is missing in our time today. If there is anyone or anything you would like to bring back to our time today, Mrs. Andrea, what do you think that thing will be, Mrs. Andrea?
I would bring back the times when women didn't have to work. The bond between the mother and the child is sacred. And I I do believe a lot of our issues as a society today are due to the fact that we don't take care of the mothers. If you look in America, they have like 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, I think. I don't know, something very silly to stay and they're back to work because they can't afford to stay at home with them. Yeah. Obviously, there are other countries where, parents can stay in maternity leave for a year or 2 or 3. But even then, if the income is reduced, they can't afford to do that. So I would bring that back. And I would also add to that, and to any mother or future mother that is listening, I would have a law decreed that when a child is born, the first second that child is out and into the world to be given to the mother, and for the mother to have a couple of minutes, if not more, to sit with that child looking eye to eye. Because that is what, and I have goosebumps, that is what we all crave all our lives, to be seen by our mother. And that connection starts in those first seconds of life. And if we could do that, and future mothers do that, to actually just sit there for 5 minutes and look in those babies' eyes and beyond them to that soul and create that connection, we're going to have a wonderful society.
Sincerely appreciate the beautiful insight. Mothers are the creator of earth. And that is why we always honor them, we always celebrate them, and we always respect them as humans. Because they are the creator and they are the ones that that got the most attention and also the attraction to the kids as well. I have I as a person was brought through this was through a mother, and the love has to be there. I have to be in a position to honor and also embrace her as one so that I will receive the grace that are out there for me. And that is why we have to continue to do more for our mothers and the parents that are out there as well, because those things are actually uneasy, face a lot, and also
Yes.
the beauty of it is also imagined as well. And we have to try our best as people to actually give the sense of love, embrace them, and celebrate them in every single moment we find them. It is not easy to become a mother, and they actually have the sense of emotions attached to their children. And those emotions are always very, very strong. From the bottom of my heart, this
Yeah.
was a bit touching to me, but I want to honestly thank you for the time and the opportunity you've given to me to actually have this profound and insightful discussion today. Thank you so much, Mrs. Andrea.
Thank you also. It was a pleasure being here with you today.
All right, Mrs. Andrea. Have a wonderful day, Mrs. Andrea. Bye bye.
Bye.